Hello Big Ringers and welcome to another thrilling instalment of the London 8 Handicapped as brought to you by The Big Ring as we see the Go 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 by the Golden Shaft, myself, Ben Rowney. Racing is underway on this Australia Day Eve. Now, as is the tradition with the London 8, the long, flat, early section tends to lead itself to breakaway groups, which do put some time into those who are left by themselves. So it's in everyone's best interest to get into this group early. As we can see, the very heavy-hitting James New putting out some big watts to get into this group. He's leading the charge with Vaughan behind, Visser out of Canada, Rowney myself, Marsland, Rowbottom, Hurst, Brockman, S. Melly out of Great Britain, Leach and Wan. Now this is the first little pinch as you come off the flat, turn right and up the first incline. Now this is a point where a few of the guys with big wattages can put the hurt into the rest of the group and try to string the group out and maybe get a little breakaway themselves. So let's see who's got the legs as we see James New attacking again. Now he was the first initiator of the early breakaway group and you can see he's putting in some big watts, 824 watts I saw there. And he's putting some damage into the rest of the group. So we do have Rowbottom trying to respond and Visser putting in some big one, Marsland, and then back to the group containing the Golden Shaft. But he is really doing some damage here. As we can see Visser putting out 500 watts and a weight bonus to try to bridge that gap back. You can see he's coming around the corner there. He does have quite a few metres on the rest of the field. So they're going to have to work hard. As you can see, the group is strung out already, so the paces come on early in this race. Now, there is a bit of reprieve as they come around here. It's a bit of a downhill section. Then there's a bit of a chance for the group to regather and work together again. And I think that seeing James New went off by himself, he should be regathered. As we can see, the group is back together, and the Shaft group here is the lead group on the road. We have a few unhandicapped riders going off the front, but that's always the case. So it'll be interesting to see who can hold into this group, as there's usually a few little attacks and counter-attacks. Now this evening there is a reduced field of only about 40 riders. Some have speculated it's a result of Joel Burns getting a podium in the Epic KOM last year, being a very internationally unpopular rider, that people were boycotting the event. But I have made some phone calls and that's sadly not the case. The real reason for the lack of commitment to the ride this evening is our usual commentator Ben McBride has his birthday today. So, in the spirit of the Big Ring, let's all take a moment to bask in his glory. Happy birthday, big fella. Welcome back to the Shaft next week. As we rejoin the racing action, we can see that that small group has maintained its advantage over the rest of the field and is more or less stuck together as we see Rowbottom, Clayton Marsland, James New, Rob Visser out of Canada. He's the one to watch this evening, I think. Have a small advantage. The Shaft has dropped back a few seconds as we see Ali Cocho Williams, who is coming to the frame. He's 20 seconds off that group, but we haven't seen him this evening, so he's bridging the gap. And as we know, he's very strong in the climbs. As we're watching James New go off the front of the group again, he's attacking over and over again this evening. He's putting 600 watts into the group, really pushing hard in this downhill to try to stretch out an advantage. But we can see that group being closed back up together as Rowbottom and Marsland are not having a bar of his antics this evening. They're working hard to catch up to him. So this is where the battle is going to be fought out, I think, as we head into the base of the climb. It'll be interesting to see who has the legs after this. This is a Peter Kip technique to get out early and go as hard as he can. As we go down the field, we've got Procker out of Brazil, Hurst out of Great Britain, Brockman, Ewan, Leach, and Esmelly, as I can see on the bottom of the list. Now, we're onto the climb, and as expected, that lead group has strung out into the individual riders now. So leading the charge up the hill, we have last week's winner, Rob Visser, followed tightly by Rowbottom. We can see a couple of bike lengths back there to Marsland, who is being accompanied by James New. And bridging the gap even further is Cocho Williams, who has bridged that gap back to about 10 seconds, down to the group of Rowney, then Hurst, then Procker out of Brazil, James New, who's a few seconds back, Ewan, who has overtaken the Shaft, behind Leach, Hurst and S. Melly. Now as we crest the climb, Rob Visser has opened up a gap of 15 seconds over Cocho Williams and Clayton Marsland. Now it was a tight fought battle the whole way up. We were watching it and there was attack and counter-attack and counter-attack again, but Visser has opened up a small gap. Now if Cocho Williams and Marsland can work together on this descent, you can often get an advantage. As we see Visser climbing the little pinchy climb after the KOM there, which leads into the descent. Once again, putting out big power, near 600 watts. using those advantages of the lightweight to the maximum efficiency to try to open up that gap as far as he can. Let's see if Marsland and Cocho Williams, as we see once again James New attacking the group that he's riding in, nearly 800 watts on this final little pinch, really trying to put in a few bike lengths before he goes into the descent. He's really hurting all of those around him this evening, and that's the true big ring spirit. And as we see Seabat, Vaughan, Hill, Willis and Tadaka for the first time this evening, welcome to the bike race, boys. But back up to the front where all the action is. Visser is maintaining a small lead over Cocho Williams and Marsden, who we can see creeping into the background of this shot here as they climb up out of the tube station. Visser pumping out over 500 watts to try to stay ahead and maintain that gap. Marsden and Cocho Williams don't look like they have the answer for him right now, as we can see them pushing hard up out of the top. But I don't know if they're going to be able to bridge that gap back to Visser, who has a good 10 seconds on them at the moment with a very small distance left to run. So as Rob Visser exits the tube station on his way to his second victory in as many weeks, I need to take this moment to apologise to you all. In the filming of this evening's event, we lost the data towards the end of the race. It became corrupted. So I do not have you crossing the finishing line. I apologise. But the moral of the story is, if you want screen time and commentary time, do stupid attacks early and you'll get all the commentary you require. So Visser with the win, but the sprint between Cocho Williams and Marsden was lost. So this is Cocho Williams' power profile in the last 1.5 Ks. This is Clayton Marsland's, and you can see where his heart breaks. And he gives up, and that is why he gets third place this evening. Good job, Clayton. So as the remainder of the pack cross the line, thank you once again for joining us for the London 8 Handicap, brought to you by the Big Ring. Just to recap, Rob Visser with the win over Ali Cocho Williams, who came over the top of Clayton Marsden for the win. James New, Jimmy New as he's known to us, as the most combative racer by far this evening. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.